Well, this is going to be one of those split down the absolute middle where you either agree or you don't agree. But I think the new skate game is pretty good. I mean, there are some things I would fix, but in general, like the feeling of playing the game is a lot of fun. But there are some things I would fix. And I think honestly, Skate is one of those titles where each sequel is met with some type of backlash. It's happened with every single one. The first game released and everybody loved it. It was widely acclaimed. The second game released, and while it received positive review initially, the movement was choppy, and the things that were added made it less realistic. Anything that they did add to the game just took away from it. However, even in the first game, there were things that were wildly unrealistic. And then the third game came around, and while it has the most fluid control, a lot of people were upset because of the arcade style that came with it. And this game kind of capitalizes on that, like just the arcade feeling. And, I understand that people want a more realistic, skate game. Just play Session. Because Skate has always been this wild and whacked out game where you're breaking a million bones at once, or, ripping through the city at unbelievable speeds and then expecting to thread the needle in a gap. It doesn't really happen like that in real life. So, why be upset? Just give it a chance. And really, I've been playtesting it for a while, and while, again, there are some things I would change, I do think it capitalizes on the main thing, which is Skate itself as a game. Like, the playing the game and skating around the city and owning the spots, doing the different challenges or reaching a certain score point. And granted, it's not as in depth, you could say, as the other games as far as like the story goes, but it kind of had to do some things different with the way that it's presented. And I know that's another bothersome thing is the free to play aspect. However, I think it also introduces the series as a whole to a margin of an audience that has never played it before. I think as a whole, what Skate always had as a core feeling was ripping through the city, owning the spot, and obviously having designated challenges while having a thriving city life, which I think as a general whole, this game handles quite nicely. Now, there are some things I would change with that, but I will be going into that a little later on. But what I think it does well also is the gameplay. The absolute core of Skate was the iconic gameplay that it brought with it. And it feels as smooth as ever, even offering a couple new tricks, things like transitions. It's easier and smoother to get off of a grind than it was in other games. In other games, you just have to either finish the whole ledge or ollie off, and you'd ollie off real high. Now, you can transition off, giving you a smoother cutout, and it has a feeling of realism too, because you would actually, bump the ledge or whatever. You can do things of that nature, and not just that, you can still make clips that are super realistic. You don't have to play doing super dudes against a vending machine or whatever. You can just play the game as if you were actually just skating the city, just like you would any other skate game. So I think the utility and the gameplay is there. Everything is there to make this a fun game. And it is. I mean, I've had a lot of fun playing it. I've sunk hours into playing it. And then everything reset and I sunk more into it. And trust me when I say this, I usually don't take that pretty lightly. I don't like when a game has you reset like that back to zero on everything. But I guess for me, it just showed how fun this game was that I was able to sink back that much time, if not more, to get my levels back, to get different ranks back, and this, that, and the third. However, everything is there. Like the gameplay is there. I remember 100% completing Skate 1, 2, and 3 and just going back into the world to skate it out, to do things different, or to just free roam and see what new spots I could find. And all of that is here. Being able to free roam, find different spots that maybe you've never noticed before, and just really tearing it up. And I think that's like the essence of Skate, is to find different spots to just shred up. You know what I mean? And this game does that well. I know I'm saying "and" a lot, so let me change the word. But no, anyways, it's good. It's real good. I've enjoyed my time with it. I know that it's a hot take. I was a skeptic, but honestly, playing it through and seeing what's been added and what's been changed throughout the time of the development stages has been incredible to see, an incredible feeling to just be kind of a part of it. I mean, even doing the surveys and this and that, it's pretty cool to be a part of something like that. Now, for me personally, this list isn't that long, but I know for some players it may be longer. Now, I think one of the core things for me, because what I loved Skate 4 was making clips, like Skate as a series, not Skate 4 as in the game. Anyways, I loved making clips, and I think that every iteration of Skate before this had done something to improve the replay camera in major ways, and I feel like that's something that's lacking in this game. I feel like the replay camera almost is reminiscent of Skate 2, where you only have 4 motions of tracking, and I guess that's enough. But I loved using the keyframes in Skate 3. I think that if they were to add anything to the game, it should be that. I understand there might be issues with adding a bunch of other stuff, but one of the things that I would say to add would be the keyframes. I loved having certain types of trail cameras that would be specific, or if I was showing off, I'd start at the wheel and then, whip around to the gap or something. It would just be fun to do stuff like that with what the cityscape offers you, rather than just being stuck to a tracking camera. And maybe there might be some additions to it, I don't know. I do know that they offer a free camera, but so far I haven't seen anything for keyframes. Another thing that I would say could be different would be having some NPCs give you missions. I think that's one of the core things that is missed. While there is a thriving city because you're lobbied with a lot of players and that offers enough, I do miss finding people in the street or whatever that would give you random missions or give you things to do, as opposed to just finding key points in a map. I do think that it gave the city some kind of life, offering you missions or giving you something crazy and wild to do. So I would say that could change as well. And I know the missions are kind of streamlined in that regard. It would just be nice to actually have a visual for who's giving you that mission, as opposed to just hearing it on the screen. You know what I mean? It would just be nice to see the actual character interaction with you. Another thing that I would say to add would be a free skate mode. Sometimes some players just want the feeling of isolation. They just want to veg out without, having to really be online all the time. I think it would be smart to do that, but at the same time, I can see why they wouldn't because you can just free skate as is. So it's not really a huge deal. But the last thing would be adding more for customization. Starting off, you get a set of cuffed pants, a blank deck, regular wheels, and whatever. And I understand you have to work your way up from that, but some of the stuff you have to buy with real currency, and it's the stuff that's like really cool shit. And that's fine, I guess. It is a free to play game, so there has to be some monetary thing spent. If you were to ask me would I rather pay $60 for a fleshed out game, I'd say yeah, sure. But with it being free to play, and that's kind of the course that games have taken, I understand why they did it. But I do think that you should offer some more good rewards for doing a lot of the missions. Like usually I'll pop the dailies every day that I'm on it. I'm doing the daily missions, the weekly missions. So I do think there could be some stuff added to it to kind of reward you for traversing the city and completing these missions. I think with what this game has and what it doesn't have, I think when you put it all together, it still has the variety of that fun factor. It still has plenty of places to rip up and shred. It still has hours of fun gameplay to ensnare yourself with. And I think that's what's most important. I mean, when you're playing a game, you plan on vegging out. You plan on, just kind of immersing yourself into it. It's a way to just kind of immerse yourself into something. And this game has that. I do feel it has that immersion factor. So I can't call it a bad game, even though there are some things that I would change. I've brought it up, like I said, but at the same time, I do think that it's very enjoyable, and I've had a lot of fun playing it and testing out this new city that we've been given. And y'all, come on. We can lobby together, play different challenges together. It's a much more streamlined way of doing party matches. So I think that it could be a lot of fun for that, like getting a group of 4 to 8 players in and just completely demolishing a challenge or seeing who could score the highest. And I think that would offer a lot of fun. Even though, like I said, it would be cool to have a free skate mode where you're kind of doing a solo session. I do think that would be fun. A lot of people want to play the game to play online with their friends. So I think it's a good addition. I think that maybe once the vision is completed, it might be seen a little different. There might be some changes, might be some more things added. So all we can do is wait and see what it is at full release. And really, I'm excited for it. I hope you all are too. I know that some of you may feel wronged or whatever. I know because I would say that I was part of that camp for a bit. But I've changed my mind. I mean, after being involved, because I wanted to be involved to see what it was to play the game and see what I would and wouldn't like about it, I still feel like I'm playing, I guess, a modified Skate 3 to where things feel just a little bit more fluid and on spec. So I really can't be upset. I've had nothing but fun with it. So I hope to see you all at release, and thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all, and 1K gang, let's go. Let's not be haters. I know that it's a hot take, but let's not be haters. Let's give it a chance. After all, it is going to be free. I know with the whole pay to play process that's popularized that it may seem like a scam, but there are some unlockables. So all we can do is just keep doing challenges and we can complete them together. So thank you all once again for watching this. I appreciate you all. And 1K gang, let's go.